something that I feel like I waited my whole life for.
Thank you so much, everybody. When you go outside and look in the sky.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. You're not going to trick me with copywritten music again, Marvel Studios. No, sir. No, thank you. And it's also some iconic music placement from Deadpool and Wolverine, which is not what we're talking about today. We'll let you know later in the show when our Deadpool and Wolverine episodes are going to be tomorrow and Thursday. We'll tell you when you can tune in. But this is what we in the biz like to call an emergency episode, where we felt like we couldn't wait, and we also didn't want it to get mixed in with the Doom, with the Deadpool talk. And joining us is Victor Von Doom himself, as you can see for our visual audience. I'm so excited. Oh, it's just Eric Connor. I was wondering if you were going to do a Dr. Doom voice like Starscream or Cobra Commander. I feel like in your mind, that's what he should always sound like.
Or Paul Lynde, I think, would have been a fabulous Dr. Doom if given the chance.
Also with us is the David Brody and, of course, the Katie Hampton. And in the chat, the Daniel Drew, who will be going through some of his tweets. Daniel Drew spent all of Saturday in Hall H, and so he was there for the big Marvel announcements, which is what we're really talking about here today. But more importantly than that, Daniel Drew, our dear friend from this show and other iterations of this show and many other shows that I do, is a beloved member of our chat. He took the time to say hello to me. He came by the Geekscape booth. Yeah, you had already left. He was your last day. He was in Hall H for the whole day. So
yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, there was no catching up with Daniel that day. So I was very excited that he came over to say hello. It was great to meet him. He had a con of his life and really got to see some great panels. And we will look at some of his Twitter reactions. He is in this very moment, as we put in there. He's about to catch his Uber. He's checking out of his hotel. And he is still down in San Diego. And I had a great time down there. And I will talk a little bit about my personal stuff at the end, because what people are here is they want to react and get our reactions to the big news. We'll sort of go chronologically. So the first thing that was discussed was actually not on Saturday. There was a Deadpool and Wolverine panel, and then also there was some conversation during the Marvel panel, but that's where the lights showed up that I showed, some of the lights in the sky. Now, I was not there that night. Katie, did you see any of that stuff over San Diego?
Yeah, we had actually just gotten out of Spaghetti Factory, which is a tradition for Matt Kelly to go to Spaghetti
I can't believe I missed the Spaghetti Factory night. I had to go to Rock and Baja and not Old Spaghetti Factory. I love Old Spaghetti Factory. But anyway, please continue.
Oh, it was great. So we had just gotten out and we had heard explosions and we were like, oh no, what's happening right now? Yeah. And then we looked up at the sky and we're like, oh, it's fireworks. And then we were like, oh no, it's a drone show with fireworks. And that was wild. It stopped everyone, like even the traffic that was supposed to be going through, everyone was just stuck in the middle of the street, phones up in the air. Yes, please. No DP.
Well, I was going to get to that. You finish your thought, and I'm putting that up there to sort of set up what I'm about to say.
No DP.
Katie has a good point. No DP.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, there was no DP. But by the way, if there was ever a superhero that would be featured in a DP video, it is, of course, Wade Wilson Deadpool.
It's correct.
Well, that's a great time to mention that Katie has not seen Deadpool and Wolverine. She'll be seeing it tonight.
Yes.
And speaking of tonight, happy birthday.
Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
I think Brody and Eric.
Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you. From
Happy
Bennigan's, from us.
birthday.
And
Wait, is that a license-free song now? Happy birthday. I
Yes.
remember for years.
It's in
Okay.
public
Actually.
domain, so keep
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
fantastic.
You do not have to do this.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear,
Mr.
dear
President.
Katie. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you.
to you. Are you
Ooh.
one? Are you?
No.
Oh no.
no.
Let's not do
Skip
that.
around
It's
the
gonna take
room.
forever.
Skip around the room.
So Katie will be celebrating Deadpool, celebrating her birthday by watching Deadpool tonight and celebrating the success of
style.
Deadpool. Yes, exactly. So yeah, there seemed to be a lot of excitement of the lights over the sky there.
It was
in
incredible.
San
It was a
Diego.
really cool show. Like they
Yeah.
went all out for that. It was kind of unexpected. There wasn't anything in like the programming or anything to just be like, hey, this time Petco Park, take a look.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, so in one of the images is Galactus, and there's the Four from the Fantastic Four, which we're showing again for our visual audience. And by showing again, I mean, I think I stopped the video too early last time. But anyway, so yeah, all very cool, all very exciting. And we're not going to talk about the movie itself for Deadpool, but we do need to take a moment since this is a news-heavy episode. I liked calling it an emergency episode. Eric, you know how some people feel about doing emergency episodes, but this felt like an emergency, didn't it?
If ever there was an emergency in Marvel movie talk, this was it.
Yeah, this is the Marvel movie talk emergency. I appreciate that. So yeah, the Hollywood Reporter. Deadpool and Wolverine is sixth biggest opening of all time with $211 million. And the key there, it is the highest opening R-rated film ever. So very excited. I believe it's 440 mil internationally. So this is what I believe they call in the business a success. And we will talk more about that success in our upcoming episodes where our focus is really on Deadpool and Wolverine. And there are a couple of fun memes, though, that I want to share because, you know, we're nothing if not meme happy here on this show. And I want to make sure that we get those on here. And I thought that this was very fun. We all know the X-Men animated series meme.
So
and
good.
so Hugh Jackman recreated it, where he's reading that it's the #1 movie in the world. And then we have Deadpool looking at that meme. And then this is just animated Logan already missing Hugh Jackman. So I love when we get all that stuff. So lots of fun, lots of talk about Deadpool coming this week. You guys may have missed us, but by the end of the week, you're going to be very tired of us. This is the first of 3 shows we're doing this week. And I'll give you a programming note right now. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be a guest along with Ian Kerner. We'll be joining Jonathan London for the official Geekscape Deadpool and Wolverine episode. All the unofficial BS that you come to expect, that's us. We're not the official Geekscape episode. We're just that Marvel movie talk trash. That's what I believe we get to be known as. All right. So there was the presentation of Deadpool and Wolverine. And as I mentioned, our pal Daniel Drew was right there. And I asked him, I'm like, all right, I'm counting on you to give us all the information. And he rose to the occasion. So he did talk about, there was a Wolverine and Deadpool choir. But the first thing that they presented was Captain America, Brave New World, which comes out on Valentine's Day. And Eric, I think our Valentine's Day 2025 will be greatly improved from 2024 when you and I went to go see Madam Web together.
Where only our love was able to keep us warm that day, because that movie sure as hell didn't.
It did leave me cold inside. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Anthony Mackie was there, talked about being Captain America. Giancarlo Esposito's there. And it was revealed that if people are going to be worried about these kind of spoilers, then they shouldn't be watching here. But he's going to be playing the leader of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder, which 80s Captain America comic book nerds know all of those things. They saw a scene that I don't think has made it online, but one of the things that did turn up online was a presentation, a little speech, a little address to the crowd from our president, Thaddeus Ross.
And I am delighted, and I am proud to become a member of the Marvel Universe. I have been watching fantastic actors, some of which are here tonight, have a really good time working in the Marvel Universe, and I wanted a piece of the action. And I'm very proud to be in this film. I think it has turned out to be fantastic.
Wrong movie.
Is it a missed opportunity if they have Harrison Ford playing the president, and at no point in Captain America: Brave New World does he tell someone to get off my plane, followed by a Hulk smash? I don't know. Look, I'm just thinking outside the box. Katie, I feel like you're going to agree with me.
Yes, no, I do agree with that. I think it's funny because apparently someone had asked him at the convention, like if Thaddeus Ross could take on Han Solo, who would win in a fight, and he was like, people ask me these questions all the time, and I have to say respectfully, thank you for the question, but I don't know this bullshit. I love that he's all in on just making movies and being an actor. He does not care about the lore of the fandom. I find it hilarious and perfectly Harrison Ford.
Well, although I did hear that Red Hulk is going to have a whip, so that's got to be cool. Yeah, how about that?
Cool. Yes.
So when we get closer to time for when we can properly focus on Brave New World, we will. We've seen trailers, and I think we can briefly take a moment, Eric. There is something that you noticed about the film. A character that we wondered whether or not she was going to be in this movie is in this movie, but they took Sabra, who is the Israeli superhero in comic books, and they have made her, they basically took Black Widow's origin story, and she's a Russian spy. Which I guess anytime you have to change a character for some reason, be like, great, we'll just turn them into Black Widow. You're the first one who sent it to me, so I thought I would talk about it for a moment. But what are our thoughts on this adjustment to the character of Sabra? Which, by the way, delicious hummus. I think that needs to be said.
Fair.
Right, because Sabra does also mean hummus. And if they just focused on the hummus is kind of a great equalizer. Lots of cultures appreciate hummus. You don't really get in fights with people when you're sharing hummus together.
Agreed, 100%.
But, I mean, it's a can of worms I want to be very careful about opening. I'm sure Mr. Brody and I could have a very long talk about this off camera.
More like herring.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, after we see the movie, we should do a special conversation about that, because I do want to see how the character's presented before we judge. But we can certainly judge the change that has been announced as being.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those. I think early on, we were already thinking this might not work. This might not be something they're able to keep.
Right.
And that's tough. I mean, Shira Haas is a wonderful Israeli actress. If you've seen Unorthodox or Shtisel, she's terrific. And she'll be great. I mean, listen, she could be great in any number of ethnicities. She can be Russian. She can be whatever you want her to be. But I think there is something to be said for, like, they had an actual Israeli character, which they've never had. And now she's just one of the many variations of a Black Widow. I'm still excited to see her. I love how small she is. Shira Haas as an actress is tiny. So the idea of someone that size going around kicking major ass, to me, is exciting in any language. So I think the character will survive. I think there's going to be a small section of the audience, myself included, that might be a little peeved, but I'm still going to be there opening night. I'm still going to bring my Happy Meal toy, which came out a year in advance.
Yeah, it sure did.
You know, and I'm looking forward to Christian and I were talking about the, you know, Shalom, Mashumcha. My name is Sabra. I am from Russia. And
Yeah,
they're gonna have to. They'll have to red dot.
I've learned not to play Simpsons clips on this channel, but we did trade back and forth. I'm excited for the Atlanta Falcons and the Denver Broncos. I sure hope that President Clinton, and I'll let you do the next one, and his wife
Hillary
will be there. So yeah, it'll be some tricky ADR. We do want to talk about some of the other announcements away from there, but David, I also wanted to give you a moment, your thoughts on Sabra Hold the Hummus.
I don't know the timeline in the final script or the filming versus the real world, but we've got characters of ethnic origin of other ethnicities without a problem. Ms. Marvel is Muslim. Scarlet Scarab in Moon Knight is clearly Egyptian. I think people should be able to separate one specific person in a movie with reality, right? It's a movie, and she was created, I'm assuming, to represent a sect of people, right? Not necessarily a country. The interesting thing about Israel, as you know, is it's a religion, it's a country, it's a lot of different things. It's unique to itself. But to change her identity completely and make her Russian, as if Russia's not involved in anything going on in the world right now.
Right,
I mean, that seems like, you know, oh, we can make her Russian, who's invading another country, but we can't make her Israeli, because it just seems like it's trying to avoid conflict, but then you still got conflict because you made her Russian. So
yeah.
And you can't go back. You can't go back and make her Israeli. I mean, she could have dual citizenship, I suppose.
She's going to start carrying around 2 passports in every scene.
Yeah,
after this
the Star of David is on her costume.
Yes.
So I feel like either don't have her in the movie, or don't have her as, like, change her name in the movie. Do some reshoots and don't make it her.
Yeah. Our pal Ivan Soto it sums it up perfectly. It's so messy. Unlike Sabra Hummus, which is never messy.
Yeah. Or it's not messy. Just make it a movie. It's just a superhero movie. It's unrelated to the real world.
Yeah, it is. But I think that there's like a mass distinction that a lot of
distinction doesn't sound right.
a big difference.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, and I think
massive
difference. But I think that we are so ingrained just culturally worldwide in a lot of this conflict that it's hard to avoid. And I guess I understand why they did it. I don't truly. I think I agree with you that it's all completely messy, and you're not going to please everyone. It sucks because, you know, that was how it was originally written as the character. It's nice when you can go back to the source material for that kind of stuff. I'm interested, I guess, to see how they plan it out, and how she performs. I think she'll do great, but yeah, it is messy, and I don't think that Marvel has skewed away from current events, kind of breaching into a lot of their themes lately.
Yeah.
But why make her make an extra scene where she's eating ham? Was that necessary? I mean, that's
I mean, it was a layer of ham, then a thick layer of mayonnaise, then there was pork roll, then there was
spam, and then spam.
Yeah,
I mean,
and she drank a huge glass of milk with it. I was like, okay, we get it. You're trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't take one lactate, not one.
Her first scene is literally cooking bacon now. They added that in.
On a Friday night.
Could you imagine? Yeah. It's just so many CGI's egg, cheese, and bacon on a roll. She's just holding it and like
she goes shopping, she pays retail. I mean, what's going on? What have they done?
That's why David Brody is on this show. David Brody said that. I didn't say that. I wouldn't say. Katie and I wouldn't say that. Eric Connor might.
But you're making me want to say some really controversial things, and I'm just.
But David Brody is allowed to say it.
You're making me want to get just get an egg, cheese, and bacon on a roll from Bagel Boss, just down the street from me here in Burbank. And yes, there's also an H&H Bagels coming to, I think, the Beverly Hills area. So
Nice.
We're never going to have to leave. We're never going to have to leave.
Dreams.
All right. So we're talking about the Ruskies. And there was a Russian in attendance there for the panel. And he made a grand entrance, as you would expect, for the Thunderbolts portion of the conversation.
San Diego Comic-Con!
No, we want to focus on the Christmas.
I've come here today to introduce you to the brand new team of heroes in the MCU. It is this great team, I have to tell you. They're wonderful. They are the Thunderbolts. We think all the same thoughts. We take care of each other.
Is this his audition to replace Steve Carell as Gru in Despicable Me 5? I feel like he had the voice better in Black Widow. This is, I feel like
I mean, granted, like it's at Comic-Con. He's excited. He's probably
been drinking a little, you know.
Yeah.
Like Russian. Yeah.
He's also not doing rehearsed lines like he did in the movie. He's got to keep the accent while he's ad-libbing.
Yeah.
So
his vocal coach is nowhere near here. So
nowhere near here. Yeah.
His vocal coach is just crying in a corner, surrounded by too many people.
All right. Well, let's let him have his payoff here.
We show up for each other. Let me introduce you to. Oh my God! You guys didn't dress up?
I feel like
Nice.
Daniel didn't tweet about that, but I feel like he enjoyed that when that moment happened. So we get the Thunderbolts, and it does have the asterisk on there, the Red Guardian. Yes, thank you, thank you, Mr. Connor. Yeah, and I'm scrolling through a post from the website The Direct. So thedirect.com, I will give credit for providing some great coverage in here. We'll get some more first-person narrative from our buddy Daniel Drew. But Florence Pugh was there, and let me get some advertising. Go figure. But yeah, so that was the moment we saw with him. And so Sebastian Stan was there, as we're seeing, and they talk about the Thunderbolts, but boy, I am not sure when we're going to get to see it. I was looking for that earlier, and so they did show some Hall H footage, and as it says here from the Direct article, exclusive to Hall H and not posted online. So we don't know what everybody got to see, and we'll talk about the next presentation there. But what is our excitement level for Thunderbolts, which I kind of feel like it's been coming up for, well, I guess after Black Widow was when we were convinced we were getting it, and that was 3 years ago now. Let me start with you, Brody. What are your thoughts on what we're going to get from Thunderbolts?
I'd say my excitement level is a 7. I like a big cast. I like a lot of heroes. I feel like it's an assortment of people we didn't care a lot about. Now we have to care a lot about them when they're together. It's like the cheerleader effect from How I Met Your Mother. You put a couple of girls, the cheerleaders are like a 6 or a 7, but when you put them all together as cheerleaders, they're 10s.
Right.
And so, like, I don't really care about Ghost. No. U.S. Agent, we were made to hate. Red Guardian's great. He looks like he slimmed down a little bit. So, Sentry is going to be exciting if they do Sentry right, which is a difficult task, which, they're to pull him off. So, yeah, I'm excited about the writing, and Red Hulk is exciting. Harrison Ford's great. So it's a wait and see. I want to see the first couple of trailers.
That checks out.
I don't know why my camera's not. I don't know why my.
This is the best, Christian.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're doing Thunderbolt, not Black Bolt. So if you could just there we go.
Marvel recast him as a blank slate.
So, Katie, what do you think about the Thunderbolts? What's your excitement level?
Or what do you think about Christian?
Both things. Very excited to come out. No, I'm excited for the Thunderbolt. Oh, sorry. Oh no, now we don't have your audio.
I didn't realize Christian was coming
Now
out.
we only
Whatever.
have the visual. This is not the best, Christian.
This feels like us waiting for the Thunderbolts and for Blade or any news on Blade to come out. You know, like it's just like we're constantly waiting. And we're just hoping to hear anything coming out of a microphone, or in person. But yeah, no, I feel like, you know, what's interesting about sort of the Hall H releases, like there was stuff that we heard about that we kind of knew was in the works. I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of insanity that we usually get, which like I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I'd be happy to see it. I don't know too much about it. I don't know about the comic that well, but I'm excited to see what they come up with. I just don't know what we actually got from all of that.
I agree, and I think that was, you know, with this Hall H presentation, which of course I would have killed to be at, but I also wasn't even in San Diego. So
who would you have killed to be there?
I guess it would have had to be Daniel Drew, right? Because he had a pass.
Oh.
But I like Daniel Drew. But I like Daniel Drew.
I'm not going to stand for that. No.
But I like him. I wouldn't want to hurt him. I just
okay.
Wanna,
all right. Well, we're back
him out for a couple hours.
Don't kill him after I've met him in person, please. That's all.
Yeah, right. No, he seems nice. But I think you're right. It's like Thunderbolts and Captain America: New World Order. They've already kind of been in the works. We already got like some imagery. We knew the cast, so there wasn't necessarily much they could have added to it beyond maybe showing, you know, a trailer we haven't seen for Captain America or any kind of footage for Thunderbolts. But
so Daniel Drew popped into the chat just in time for you.
just in time to have his life threatened.
Yeah, that Eric would have taken you out in order. Well, I'm glad that Daniel got to see the panel and you didn't, because
me too.
You have that kind of hate in your heart.
Daniel deserved it more than me. I know that. But I think, you know, it makes it feel a little real, and that's one thing I think Marvel kind of needed, that to be like, all right, guys, we've had a bumpy road. Here's actual visual proof that these things are happening when we said. Although an asterisk to that, just like the Thunderbolts title for me, is I think some of those release dates, something we've talked about before, seem like dreams. Like they're starting to film Fantastic Four tomorrow, and yet somehow it's going to get released in 1 year. Like
it'll come out in less than a year. Yeah, the official release date is July 25th next year.
No way, unless the effects are terrible, which I don't think they will be. I hope.
Well, imagine if a Fantastic Four movie came out with terrible effects. So I have the release date for Thunderbolts. It's May 2nd of next year. So it seems like they're stacking things on top of each other again. You know, Captain America was supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it back after the strikes. So that's February 14th. And then we're going to have Thunderbolts on May 2nd and allegedly Fantastic Four on July 25th. I agree with Eric. I think we'll probably get Thunderbolts on July 25th and Fantastic Four maybe in time for next holiday season. But it's one of those stories where I'm like, all right, enough already. I would like, I think he's right. I think filming for Fantastic Four did start today, but then yet there's somehow trailers. You know, I mean, there's a trailer that was shown that there's some music in it. So as you're talking, Eric, I'm going to show the trailer, but turn the music off pretty quickly. So what were you going to say? Again,
Fantastic.
Connor.
Oh, actually, I hadn't seen this, so I'm just curious myself. I thought this was just a piece.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
so you can keep talking though. Yeah,
it's like a sizzle reel more than an actual trailer.
Yeah, but you'll keep going though. If you keep watching, you'll see. You'll see that there's at least some sequences. You know, so yeah. But
when I like the discussion they had about their inspiration for 1960s sort of neo sci-fi New York, and I'm blanking on the artist or the author's name, but I looked it up and it looks cool. I mean, I think it's something they haven't quite done, is kind of cool retro futuristics 1960s yet. So I don't mind this story being set there. I mean, I think the end of the film we could almost already see a blip and all of a sudden they're in our modern day. But that aside, I think it's actually a good space to inhabit that hasn't been done. So on that end, I think they're, with these new films, they do have to find these little places to put them that we haven't seen a million times over. So it seems like a smart move, but I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Brody?
Well, this isn't the footage that I sent you yesterday that was shown at Hall H. What they showed at Hall
the
H
video
was
you sent me, had been taken down for copyright reasons, along with many other videos of that. So that was what I was able to find. So maybe that wasn't even what it looked like. And Ivan's wondering if it's for real, but that's fine. It gave us something to have in the background.
I should have screenshot it. Well, not screenshot it.
Screen recorded
screen capture. Yeah, screen recorded it. It would look like actual footage from the movie, which they then said was just put together for Hall H. But it was showing them read in a classroom or on a talk show talking about the multiverse and his theories on it. And then it showed them getting in the rocket and Sue saying, "This is my little brother. He's single." And it sort of looked like they were being treated as heroes going into space, showed the rocket launch. And that's pretty much it. So,
okay. So yeah, you had something different. And one of the things that I can find right now, seeming to refer to what you were saying, is I guess somebody did, and I'll give them credit when I bring it up on the screen. This account, I guess, has some screen grabs from what was there before it got taken down.
That's it.
Someone named Snap Decisions 53 with the Spider Geek logo there in the middle. So that's who you have to sue, Marvel, if there's anybody that's showing stuff you don't want out there. It's not me. And I personally like seeing this part right here that looks like the old dating game. So
yes, and in the scene, she selects Bachelor number 3, which would be Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
Wow, who wouldn't? By the way,
yeah,
old Blue Eyes. For
he's just looking to get his rocks off.
Oh my God.
Where's the bell? Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
Yeah, where's it?
Thank you. There it is.
I just wanted the bell.
I know. I forgot. It was at arm's length. So there was this sort of presentation of FF, and Daniel, already forgetting about the threat on his life, is enjoying himself
just on his badge.
No, by the way, badge wouldn't have done anything. He was in a seat. Anyway, go ahead.
Sid Mead is the name of the artist that they took their inspiration from. Apparently, he was a concept artist on Blade Runner.
Yeah,
but
I saw you put that in the live chat, and I don't listen to you when you talk, so I had no idea who Sid Mead was, and I was going to ask you, but thank you.
Feeling the love.
Yeah. Just to backtrack, because Daniel made this point about the Thunderbolts, the asterisk is still shrouded in mystery.
Yep.
So we'll find that part out. And what I like about this, Daniel was trying to not give spoilers. So he says, talk of a certain family, the Richards family. The director is here to say things. He's talking about how they made their powers realized, respecting the comics and making it also seem real. We know about the 60s aspect, but it's a futuristic view of the 60s. And he says, now we get animatics. And this is what he was just commenting on. Ha, did I say animatics? I meant trailer. And the cast is actually here. And OMG, they did it. The trailer was certainly 60s era and just amazing. I'm so happy. Pedro Pascal was talking about knowing Matt Shackman for years. The siblings, Johnny and Sue Storm, bonded over being British, because why would American superheroes be played by American actors? That's fine. Spider-Man, Batman, everybody. We always need everybody to be British. And I'm not quite sure what this meant, but yeah. Oh, no, don't get me started. The Hulk gave advice to the Thing. So fun things like that. So it looked good. And yeah, I tried to find whatever it was that Brody had sent me. And if I had been thinking, I would have clicked on it immediately and screen recorded it myself. But Eric, you were talking about Sid Mead, though. So this is the artist responsible for, I guess, the design of the world that is
inspiration. Sid Mead's deceased, but I think they took a page from his book. The idea of Tomorrowland, think of that kind of design, which I think it's great. And I mean, I hope they do a lot of practical too. I would love to. I love tangible science fiction. I love when it's clearly wasn't just made in a computer. So hopefully they're building some sets. I mean, they're filming this in England, right? So maybe.
Well, George Lucas would tell you just need to go into a blue room and pretend stuff's in there with you, and you don't actually need practical effects. You don't need to hold anything. You don't need to know who you're fighting. So, agree to disagree. Who am I going to side with, Eric Connor or George Lucas? Well, you know what? George
He did make Howard the Duck. Oh, that's true.
George never gave me Loki sauce, so
but he gave you Howard the Duck that you could cook up and then dip into that. So
hey,
duck sauce.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, what are Katie? I feel like I didn't get a chance to ask you your thoughts on the FF. What are you thinking from even if you didn't see the trailer that I can't find anywhere? What are your thoughts for the sort of the aesthetic and the fact that this movie's really going to happen, and maybe, just maybe, on the fourth try, we'll get a good Fantastic Four movie?
I think we're heading in a really good direction. I really do. I love the style, the art style. The few clips that we have seen of actual, I guess, footage, but might just be sort of that sizzle reel promotional stuff that we might not see at all within the movie. We kind of come to expect that at certain times, but I think the look of it, the design of it, I'm very excited. The cast is a really solid cast. I am pumped for it. I don't know about the release date, but when don't they push things back? So whether that is coming out what you said next May?
No, July 25th. So during next San Diego Comic-Con, I do feel like they're going to want, like they did this year, they're going to want to have something there. So that's why I'm like, well, maybe Thunderbolts moves to there. You never know though, because the way that effects work, like effects heavy sequences, they could have been working on for like a year now,
It could have been. I will say that I hope Eric is right. I hope we have some practical sets, just because, especially if we do like a 2001 Space Odyssey type of look or feel to it, I think we can have something really cool. The more practical, the better, in my opinion, because the more that we have CG, the quicker it just kind of goes out of fashion, and the quicker that we can all see the sort of seams behind the costumes. So hopefully we have more practical. I don't know with that timeline if we are, but if they're filming today, great. Let's see what happens.
And Daniel explained, Mark Ruffalo gave the actor playing Ben Grimm advice on motion capture and all of that.
Great.
Those performances. And if I were taking over the role of the thing, I'd see if Andy Serkis would take my call. I'd be like, hey, can we talk about the thing that you're the best at ever? So
I would love to play the Thing. Yeah.
Nice pun, by the way. The thing he's good at. Nice.
That is it. Exactly.
All the bells.
And somewhere in here, our pal Kame Egan jumped in, and she wanted to say, hey, and don't worry anything about anything, Kame Egan, because as I already let everyone know, you're popping in a little later, there's no Deadpool talk.
Today.
No spoilers.
Just today.
Tomorrow's episode will be all the spoilers, all the talk, but we're not talking. We did talk about it making a lot of money, which go figure. But look, I've been told that movies are going to be the biggest movie ever before, and it doesn't always deliver, Katie has her own pop vinyl.
Katie
her and her
Pool.
husband. Wait, keep holding up Katie Pool. I want to put you in. So that's Katie Pool.
It is. I have a Tempad.
And your husband has a Mark Pool, right?
He has a Wolver Mark.
That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot that's what he did. Yeah, he has a Wolver Mark. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Well, and so I look, I'm excited for it, but don't rush that movie out to have it out in time for Comic-Con.
No, and I think
even if they only need one more month, take the time. And I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Katie?
I was just gonna say, I hope that's the main thing. I hope we're kind of getting back into the whole Marvel. Don't release it till it's ready, because once we rush things, it never turns out great. And especially when cutting corners, we've seen how that has affected certain properties, and how
Yeah.
great that goes, and how cold your hearts become.
Yes, right, exactly. This is a funny observation from Kame Egan. Sebastian Stan still looking a little bit like Tommy Lee, whom he played in the Hulu series about Pam and Tommy.
Yes.
Bucky and Tommy Lee, not. It's a good question from Kame Egan. Any guesses on what the asterisk means? No. I don't, because it seems really stupid and it's annoying. I'm not going to lie. If it was a question mark, it would be way better. Like Thunderbolts, but what do you guys think? What do you think the asterisk means at the end of Thunderbolts, Brody? Is it the asterisk that's like you waiting to see if you can get excited and really want to see it, or waiting to see it before you pass judgment? What do you think the asterisk means? We appreciate that question, Cam Egan.
Well, by definition of what an asterisk does, it says it's not really official, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible that they rename the movie the way they did Fantastic Four yesterday, right? They called it Fantastic Four: The First Steps.
Yes.
Maybe. And one of the things Feige said was not like the comics, the Thunderbolts is not related to Thunderbolt Ross. He seems to make that a point wherever he makes that, where he's asked about it. So maybe the movie is called something else. Maybe maybe Thunderbolts is not the main focus of the movie, and it becomes something more about what's the guy's name? The Bob Sentry. Maybe there's more of a Sentry name to it after a while. Maybe Thunderbolts isn't testing well, because nobody, not, you know what I mean? Like maybe people who are the Thunderbolts? So I think it's not the official title.
And the Ivan Soto, our friend Ivan Soto with the theory, maybe it means their name will be changed. People are assuming they're the Dark Avengers. That's entirely possible. And that's also what Daniel seems to think. What were you going to say, Katie?
I was just going to say that asterisk, at least to me in English, it just means there's a footnote. There's something that also needs to be said that we have to look at the reference for, but we haven't been given that footnote yet. So yeah. I think that there's like a massive footnote that we just haven't been given yet. And that's all it seems to be for me.
Bringing it back to Fantastic Four, Daniel says that if it's released during San Diego Comic-Con, it's another movie he'll have to maybe get into a panel for or wait 6 days to see. So it is very stressful when these things come out, even when it comes out on the Thursday, because Comic-Con, I guess the preview day is Wednesday now, and Thursday is actually the first day. That's how infrequently I go. I was like, oh, Thursday is like a real day now, but
it is a real day now.
Yeah, we feel for that. And look, it could be a very simple thing. Maybe it's simply that the team isn't an official team because it is covert. What say you, Connor, when it comes to the FF and the Thunderbolts and the things we've talked about thus far, before we jump right into what people really want to talk about?
I think per Brody's comment, like maybe the idea of it didn't test well, but they're like, what if we add an asterisk? And Peoria was like, yes, now we'll see it. All it needs is a little punctuation and we're there. And I think there's a name change. I think it's the idea of like they're not official Thunderbolts or whatever, and maybe it gets into that like that cheesy thing they did in the last Fantastic Four, with the say the name at the end right as they cut to black kind of thing.
That was so terrible.
It was
the movie had been
so terrible.
No, but the movie had been so bad, and then it just ends also on a bad note.
Right. I mean, listen, by that point, those who were still conscious, it didn't matter. Like nothing was going to revive us. But I think it's one of those. It's kind of like a silly little thing to do in a title. It gets people talking. So I'm not worried at all about the asterisk. I think it is a B-level team, though. I think there's something we were talking about before that has some great actors: Florence Pugh, David Harbour. I mean, like great performers in the mix. Love Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina. I think she's awesome. So I will be there. We'll all be there. But the Taskmaster, they didn't exactly wow us with what they did with the Taskmaster last time.
Yeah.
maybe this is a chance to actually get something out of that character.
Well,
Maybe
let's
it works
remember
for Electro.
the first Deadpool we saw on screen in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So sometimes
Yeah.
a do-over can
It's
go
the
a long
apology.
way. What were you going to say, Mr. Brody?
Well, since we're analyzing the asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts, why the question mark after What If? Can we talk about that?
We could. I know you want to talk about punctuation. Daniel's talking about there was a mishap with the Thursday panel. So the Deadpool panel had a sign-up contest and people got them. But then when the time came for the line and getting into Hall H, they also let in just everybody without them having to show the email that they belong there. So
Oh no.
that sounds like a Comic-Con International
does.
problem.
It
So
definitely does.
some people who got the email never got into the panel at all.
Oh, that's awful.
But as the kind of person who often doesn't get those emails, I would have been sitting there like, sucks to be them. But that does sound terrible. I didn't get to see any panels. I was too busy getting people to sign up for the Geekscape mailing list, and then they could take something free from the box of junk.
things.
It was just junk, but. Some of it was cool. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it.
Reach into the box.
Yeah, Fright School had a cool giveaway, a bunch of Elvira stuff, and signed by what's her name, Cassandra
Peterson.
Cassandra Peterson, signed by Elvira herself. And look at that. That's the little crossing pedal they had.
Were people paying for prizing with skee ball tickets? I mean, how cheap is the stuff you're giving away?
No, it would have taken probably like 100 skee ball tickets. It would have been like 10.
$1.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you're probably right. We always accept Chuck E. Cheese tokens. And anybody who wants to donate to the show, Streamlabs, Venmo memberships, gifted memberships, Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Absolutely. All of it accepted here for the show. Cami Egan would be pissed if it was one of those that had the email, if she was one of those. Oh, and Daniel missed when we were showing some of the drone images, but the drone show afterwards was cool. He was already back. I'll let people know where you stayed, Daniel. He stayed at Town and Country, which is a lovely place to stay in the San Diego area. You were not close. A lot closer than me, though. I could have walked to Legoland. That's how far away I was, but nobody cares. That's not why people tuned in. People kind of tuned in because everybody's talking. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to react to the one thing.
And I think we're going to need the greatest actor in the world to play that character. Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe.
Got to put a pause right there. Did you notice what word he stopped himself from saying?
Multiverse.
In the Marvel
universe.
Pause universe. It's like when I do a podcast with my friend Mark Hunt. We always make sure to put a very pregnant pause. He has a podcast called Podcast of the Apes. If you're a fan of Planet of the Apes, that's right. Don't say I never gave you nothing, Mark. I just sent people to Podcast of the Apes. So the multi-universe, and Daniel was just too busy about to lose his shit, so he didn't catch that. So they're talking about Dr. Doom, all right? And they're going to show us who's Dr. Doom.
We give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Robert De Niro.
Okay, one of two people.
Al Pacino.
That's a pop.
Yep. That's a bit of a pop for RDJ right there.
Yep.
That is the reaction to Robert Downey Jr.
I don't know if you guys saw it though, but when all of the cloaked sort of dooms came out, and when you saw like brown, and like the very tail end, you saw someone in green just trying their hardest to hide behind everyone. I was like, RDJ was back there just being like, "Fucking move."
So he spoke to the crowd. There's more that he said, but I have this. This is the snippet I was able to find thanks to the Marvel official account, which you'd think that they'd have, I don't know, access to the gigantic camera that's projecting on the jumbotron. That's all right. Let's see what RDJ had to say.
New mask. Same task.
Okay, I hate that more than I hate so many things.
They paid for him to say that.
I hate new mask. I hate same task. We'll
what about Trask from the X-Men?
That would have been fine. That would have been fine. But yeah, that would have been that would have been Peter Dinklage, wouldn't it? So that would have been delightful.
As Von Doom.
What did I tell you? I like playing complicated characters. Wow.
All right. So a lot of speculation on what this means. And I saw some comments earlier because people rightly assumed that we were going to talk about this right away, but we waited almost an hour. Ivan said, you know, you got to... Brody's from radio. He understands. You gotta keep him tuned in. We want the P1s.
Forward tease.
Yeah, we want the P1s to stay with us for the entire hour, and don't change that dial even when we're trying to sell you Sabra hummus. So Ivan said, so they haven't confirmed if RDJ will be the permanent Doom, right? I still kind of hope a new actor will be cast as the official one. I want to start with Katie because you started trying to give me your theory on text, and I told you as a professional broadcaster, shut up! Save it for the air. I actually didn't say the shut up. I said, okay, we'll save it for the air.
It was implied in the text.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whenever I write back to you, the shut up is just always implied. Yeah.
No, totally. Come on the show and shut up. I think this is sort of a misdirect. I think this is one of those like, wait, what are they doing? Sort of intrigue inducing type of casting. I'm sure he's going to be some sort of what if style Dr. Doom. Another universe, obviously, as you pointed out, Christian, he said multi-universe, which I think has some big meaning in that, but I also have been burned from like looking into things a little too closely before. But yeah, he's back. I'm sure he's excited because, I mean, more franchise money, why not? You know? But I think he's going to be a temporary Dr. Doom.
Yeah, I think that he probably got $2 billion for 2 movies, and he's like, all right. I mean, I guess that's the only thing that Tony Stark still needs is to not be Tony Stark anymore. Yeah, look, I feel like although there might be a bit of an abrupt turn away from the multiverse, at least for the short term, which we'll talk about, I do think that this is a Tony Stark from a reality where he became Victor Von Doom, or he became Dr. Doom. He's not Victor Von Doom. He is a Dr. Doom. Could be wrong.
They did say be wrong. The only person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, he easily could have changed his name. I mean, he could have been born Tony Stark, but because Tony Stark was famous, he changed his name to Victor Von Doom, so no one would know it's the weapons guy in the armor.
Sure.
Or Victor Von Doom could have been his stage name when he entered the WWF.
Fair.
Eric likes that explanation. By the way, there is not only one person who can play Victor Von Doom. Eric and I earlier this year talked to someone else who played Victor Von Doom. We talked to Joseph Culp
and played him quite well.
Yeah, I that was the doomiest Doom that I had felt had ever doomed up until now. Maybe I'll send a message to Joseph and see what he thinks about our DJ being Dr. Doom, and then he'll be like, if they wanted actors that they used before, I'm still working. I'm right here. What are your thoughts on this, Mr. Brody? I feel like out of the 4 of us, the one most likely to be annoyed by this is you, but I could be wrong. I don't actually know.
That's actually a default setting.
Yeah. I was just going to say you said that about everything. Yeah, people are giving out millions of dollars. I imagine, Brody, you're annoyed by that. Here's what I'll say. First of all, Tony Stark and Iron Man, he's constantly out of the armor, right? He's Tony Stark half the movie. Victor Von Doom doesn't take his mask off. So once you see the origin of Victor Von Doom become Doctor Doom, any actor can play the character in the mask, and he can do voiceover. Like he doesn't have to be. They can be like Mandalorian, where the guy just works. Pedro Pascal's not even on set half the time. He's just doing voiceover.
In theaters now, Deadpool. I was talking to my wife about how great it must be for reshoots and changing the story when the guy's got the mask on for most of the movie,
Yeah. I mean, the whole NSYNC, the scene you see in the trailers, I'm not ruining anything.
Yeah.
That's not him dancing.
What?
There's a guy
dancing. All right,
dancing.
that's enough.
What? Spoiler. But as far as Tony Stark, I would imagine he also may be in Fantastic Four. Like he may escape that universe, but maybe Galactus isn't the bad guy the whole movie. Maybe Doom is the bad guy, and then Galactus wants to eat the planet, and he's one of the bad guys. I just think you have to have Doom, and the Fantastic Four are going to be in the Avengers, so I feel like Doom should come from that universe.
Yeah,
because he's got to come from some universe.
Yes, I agree with William Walton, or I agree with his question that is it a Tony Stark variant who went bad? Yes, I think that's absolutely what happened. Yeah. And Eric, you were talking earlier about some of these release dates that you find to be a little iffy. May 2026. That's only 2 years away. I don't buy it for a second. What are your thoughts on Victor Von Downey Jr.?
Well, we know he can pull it off. I mean, he's a tremendous actor. We all know. Yep. I mean, that's no news there. I'm really torn because I totally get it seems a little desperate, like bringing back like Robert Downey as like, okay, fans.
That's
the word of the day is desperate.
You do win our prize because that was my immediate reaction in San Diego, and whenever anybody's asked me, it reeks of desperation, this move. Yeah.
And it's funny, like Alex, my son had brought this up. He's like, oh, Robert Downey is going to be Doom. And I thought he just read some bullshit clickbait. And then I realized, like, oh, wait, no, he's right. And I'm surprised by this move because there's so many. I mean, think of how many actors could have taken off that mask. Maybe not gotten that pop, but have gotten a comparable pop. I mean,
who would be your first pick, Eric?
I mean, he's not as
David Brody. Oh, sorry. Who's your second pick?
David's actually my first through fifth choices.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
Choice number 6.
I mean, the guy
the Avengers.
Yeah, right. He's all the Avengers in my heart. I think Michael Fassbender was one that I just feel like I know they've used him in Marvel properties, but I think that to me is the Von Doom I always kind of imagine. But he obviously doesn't have the star quality of Robert Downey. But to your point about the mask, I mean, remember when they paid Arnold all that money to be in Batman and Robin, and then you could barely see him? Like,
chill out. Eric, chill out with the criticism of Batman and
Ice
Robin.
Age. Yeah, and so I'm really kind of confused by this, but I'm excited because he's great, and he's repeatedly been great. I mean, I've been a fan of his as an actor. Really, I mean, Back to School is one of my favorite films, but Less Than Zero.
You live your life after his character in Less Than Zero. Let's be honest.
Well, from between midnight and 12:20 a.m. for sure.
Right, exactly.
But he's such a tremendous actor, and I think
Agreed.
It would be cool to see him do a complete about-face, play a completely different character than Tony Stark, even if it's a Tony Stark variant. I mean, there's kind of an exciting challenge to that. I'm curious what you guys think about the Russo brothers, though, coming back. Like,
I'm excited.
Yeah, and that one, in one hand, does seem like a desperate bid because it's a sure thing. But the other hand, look what they have done with the 4 films they directed. And I don't want to say anything about Deadpool, but I find the ability to direct massive action is a skill not a lot of directors have. And they have repeatedly shown they can make things big and small at the same time. Like, you don't lose track of any individual sort of moments or stories. So I think bringing the Russos back was the smart move. A little bit of a safe bet, but a smart bet. And I'm thrilled they're at the helm for both of them.
Well, and I think Marvel's on a precipice right now where it's basically like we've got a lot of fandom that's falling off, and there's a lot of people that are becoming disinterested with the property. And of course, they're going to try and make the safe bets, especially with sort of their main core structure of all of this. bringing RDJ back feels like it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's okay. We know what you like. We do know that you like this guy. And it's like, yeah, but like, we also like a lot of other people. So how are you going to help with that?
Yeah, there's a few versions of the video that I showed. That's the account I think that Marvel showed. I was looking for one that was closer. And in some of them, you'll hear somebody, there's one where you hear somebody say like, Robert, because they're hoping it's him. Right. And my favorite one is somebody's like, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. I heard that one.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, imagine the reaction. I think people would have laughed. It's like, oh my God, it's Michael Morbius.
Right. The one true Victor Von Doom, and they takes off the mask and all you hear is
just crickets.
And he'd have the Joker tattoos from Suicide Squad. He'd be like, oh, look, Victor Von Doom is damaged. Someone who will be appearing on this show on Thursday, and we will give you our schedule for our Deadpool episodes. Adam Hughesy, the H-Man Hughes, says the Russos coming back isn't good news to me. He's the H-Man. Name one good film they've made outside of Marvel. There are those episodes of Community, obviously. But if David, you have a movie, please bring it to the table.
It's called It Doesn't Friggin' Matter What They Did Outside of Marvel. They're hired from Marvel.
All right. I like that. Yeah.
Right. Like, exactly. The guy's a great French chef. The guy's a great French chef, but he hasn't made any Japanese food. Who cares? He's a great French chef.
I really have to agree with you, Brody. I really have to agree with you on that.
This guy's upset they don't do film noir very well. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and I agree. I agree.
They are home run hitters every time for Marvel.
The Russo brothers are sure thing for the Avengers movies, Cam Egan says. I think the films are going to look terrific. I'm concerned it's only one half of Marcus and McFeely. I thought I read something that they had a falling out. I actually don't know about that. So
he lost that
not
love
that
McFeeling.
You're so proud of yourself.
Celino and Barnes all over again.
So we're gonna have a Secret Wars movie in 2027, and I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. is permanently Victor Von Doom. I think he's 2 movies and then he's done. He's going to shoot his scenes concurrently, using an AI version of himself, perhaps. I don't know.
What if
let's hope they don't go to the AI route again.
Yeah. Well, and they paid him $3 billion. I was like, well, what if you don't even have to show up? I'm listening.
What if another multiverse Iron Man comes into Secret Wars and it's Robert Downey Jr. and he kills himself as Iron Man, and then we get Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man?
Well, we learned from Endgame that even if you kill the past version of yourself,
well, no. I'm saying an alternate. I'm saying an alternate version of Tony Stark as Iron Man kills alternate version of Tony Stark as Dr. Doom. Then we get Iron Man back in the MCU.
You mean Tony Stank? Yeah. So I don't know. It just feels desperate. He's a fantastic actor. It's going to be a great performance. I don't doubt any of that. I just feel like it's unnecessary. And I am surprised that they abandoned all of their Kang plans, not because of the actor. You know, I just was like, hey, there's millions of variations of him. You just cast a new actor, you know. I mean, Tony Stark's best friend, well, Happy would tell you he's his best friend, but let's be honest. You know, they changed Rhodey after one movie. They have Harrison Ford playing Thunderbolt Ross. So, yeah, I thought that, to me, a Kang story, way more interesting than literally anything Dr. Doom can come up with, because the possibilities for Kang are literally infinite. And you felt like that was a next level threat that would exceed what Thanos did. Dr. Doom? Yeah. All right. I mean, pretty sure I've seen Spider-Man beat him up, you know, one-handed, you know, so.
Right. It's not like Ant-Man could beat Kang. Nobody can beat Kang.
Wait. Yeah. Well, if Ant-Man did the theory that they had for Thanos, where he went, exactly. He had a rear entry, as we might say. Then maybe he could get Kang.
The boys.
But in any case, I just thought Kang was logically the next step, but they clearly are putting some room between them and the multiverse. Apparently, there was just too much madness. And Greg C in the chat, thank you for being here, sir. I assume he means our DJ. So there's a typo. He either means Robert Downey Jr.
That guy's anti-vax.
Thank you. Thank you for pouncing on it before I could get it out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He's either saying Robert Downey Jr. or R.F. Kennedy Jr. One of them is a typo. All right. He explained.
Or Robert Frost, maybe.
Junior.
Robert Downey Jr.
He only wrote 30 poems.
Wasn't as the iconic Iron Man. I can't see if there's anything else. It's a great point. And I think it's going to be a Tony Stark, but we're going to have to see.
Yeah.
And so Daniel's going to be waiting for a train for 2 hours. So Daniel, we'll start the show over and we'll do it 2 more times for you. But we appreciate all of your insight that you were able to give us from San Diego Comic-Con. And I know that we have some scheduling issues for a couple of you. We will let you go momentarily, but I just want to make sure that we get to my favorite part of Daniel's tweets from Saturday were after that reveal and who be returning to reject them. So the Doom bots, there's a new mask, and he didn't want to give the reveal, but
the RDJ
flabbergasted. Yeah, the RDJ reveal. So Daniel, I think it would be fun to be in one of those big panels. I've been in like panel, not on the panel. I've been in the hall for ones that are medium sized, but I've never been there for one of those where you get to scream. Everybody does seem to be shitting on the Robert Downey Jr. thing today, and I'm just like, I would have preferred something different, but I don't think it's going to be bad. It's not going to be bad. It's just unnecessary.
I don't think it's groundbreaking. I don't think it's the end all be all. It does make me feel like, oh, that was your big surprise for Hall H. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well.
We haven't talked much about Galactus, just that they had the lights of Galactus, Daniel. But yeah, that's going to be the focus for the FF movie, is our understanding, and maybe the footage that Brody scrubbed from the internet so he could keep it all to himself and not share it with the rest of us. Maybe they showed some of that. And look at Daniel. That's a nice flex, my friend. It's been his third Saturday Hall H. All right. Well, Daniel, tell us what you want to tell us about Galactus as we start to tidy up the show here. So you will see 3 of the 4 of us tomorrow. We will replace Eric with a C for Eric with a K. We'll be joined by the great Eric Nagel, E-Rock himself, and Katie, and yours truly, and Mr. Brody. We will be doing Marvel Movie Talk on these same channels you're seeing them at now. I thought you had an E-Rock mask. I was actually really excited. I was like, I can't wait for him to show it to us. And so tomorrow, Tuesday, July the 30th. That does actually look a little bit like
it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's not too far off. I'll get a screenshot of that. We'll be doing that at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific tomorrow, Tuesday. That'll be our first Deadpool and Wolverine, all the spoilers, every spoiler, everything about it, all the thoughts. And then I told you there's going to be 3 episodes of our show this week because there's no such thing as too much of a great thing. On Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Eric Connor will be with me, along with Adam Hughesy, the H-Man Hughes. And from Once Over with Kaylee, some people know her as Lucy Typebox, Kaylee, Hughesy, Eric, and myself will all be talking about it. And don't worry, we're doing more than 2 episodes. I'll let you know on Thursday what else is coming. You'll see some other familiar friends, returning faces. I'm in talks with the Jeff Williams for him to make a triumphant return because as long as we don't talk about Sony movies, he can come on our show.
There you go.
Who saw a trailer for Venom: The Last Dance before Deadpool? I know you haven't seen it yet, Katie, but yeah, my wife just looked at me and she's like, really? Another one? She hasn't seen any of them. It's like, does he always talk like that? I'm like, well, in those movies. Yeah, she's talking about Tom Hardy. Anyway, so that's when you'll be able to find us again with more. and more of us. And Katie, I'm excited for you to see Deadpool so that we can talk about it tomorrow. Daniel says there was a shot in an office building and someone's looking out of it, and then we saw Galactus looking in the window.
Yeah.
Cami Egan, I'm sorry that the movie was already spoiled for you. You just want to hear everyone's thoughts. I would say you should still check it out. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Ivan Soto, Venom: The Last Dance. I almost forgot about that movie. That's signed Ivan Soto, but it might as well be signed Sony Pictures. Venom: The Last Dance.
Signed the world.
Yeah. The movie they really forgot about, though, is Craven.
Craven.
One day, maybe.
Hopefully.
Anyway, I can't wait till we do our Venom episode. It's not going to be the worst movie I saw this year because it's a year where I saw Madam Web.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Katie, but also Unfrosted. So
I know I was in it and I took it off of everything that I have that I was credited.
No,
they took the credit off for me. So I was like, well, I'm doing it.
Any other year, it would be a lock for worst movie of the year. But
I enjoyed a good 9 minutes of it. Don't do
that. As long as it takes to cook a Pop-Tart is how much you liked it.
Yes.
3 minutes, really.
Yeah, it's about the substance. Same substance.
Well, everyone join us tomorrow. As I said just seconds ago, you will be able to find us tomorrow at, I want to make sure I get the time right, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And in just a little bit over an hour, right here on Geekscape, it'll be the main feed, the main show, the big show. I got called up to the majors for 1 hour. Geekscape. Hey, yeah, you know what? Let's get this dead weight out of here. I'll be on Geekscape, the main show today at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, talking with the Ian Kerner and the Jonathan London. So there is going to be so much Deadpool and Wolverine talk, and I'm going to be exhausted of it. Eric, I'm actually really looking forward to you and I getting to talk about Hit Monkey season 2, because it'll mean we can turn past. I haven't seen any of it yet, though.
No.
And oh my God, look what Katie got from Hit Monkey.
Yes.
Did you watch Hit Monkey season 1, Katie?
I haven't yet. No, but this was like the coolest thing from the Hulu activation.
If either of you want to catch up and watch season 2, we'll do one episode, one special of just season 2 of Hit Monkey. So we liked it. We were very surprised.
Yeah. I'm excited. Like, I honestly had forgotten about it until the activation, and then they gave me this like cool katana box thing. And I was like,
so surprising, Katie. Like Hit Monkey was one of those kind of snuck up on us. They didn't really put much muscle behind it. It's great, and I'm really stoked that they did a second season.
Well, Eric, I know you need to go, so please give us your plugs. Plug away.
Well, why watch Tuesday's Deadpool and Wolverine special when you can watch Thursdays with me?
Oh wait, no, I'm on both of them. Shut up.
By then you're going to be just like putty. You're going to be done talking about it. But myself,
I'm going to be Patrick Warburton.
Always in my heart. So yes, hi, Count Eric Connor over at X, Insta, and now I got to update my resume because I did say, featured on podcast with woman who played Chicken Lady in Unfrosted. Now you've removed it, so I can't live off the reflected glory that is Katie Hampton. I'm very sad about that.
All right,
you could still just say Katie Hampton and not the chicken part.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to change my degrees of Kevin Bacon now. Damn it.
I'm sorry, buddy.
So, Eric, we'll see you on Thursday. See you next Thursday, and so long to him. And he's going to watch them all live or not after I see the movie. Daniel Drew, we appreciate that. David Brody, give us your plugs. Katie, you can give us her plugs, and then the show will end. But Brody, what are you plugging?
Twitter and Instagram at David Brody. That's with a Y. You can watch us tomorrow at 3:30 East Coast time on the Deadpool show, right here at Geekscape with the other Eric. And on Thursday, you've already heard everything. Listen to the Brooklyn Boys podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Episode 303. It's Palindrome. Enjoy it on Thursday, and that's all. That's all I got.
They could enjoy it after we were done. Like, they don't have to. It's not an either or. This isn't Sophie's Choice. They can check out, but please check out the Brooklyn Boys. And Katie, I know you did a lot of stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. So I think you've got a lot to edit. What can people expect from you in the near future, apart from being on this show again tomorrow?
You can always check me out at ElSassyPants, ELSASSYPANTS, sometimes with a Z if you're on TikTok. You'll see Marie and I from the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast did a ton of interviews and stuff. I have a lot to edit, so there's going to be a lot of stuff. If you are into any of the geeky fashion stuff, we did full coverage of the Her Universe on Thursday night, and it was incredible. Look forward to that. The guys from Fright School are actually going to come on and help us do some coverage on that. It was such a fun time. We had a blast at that event. And then we'll have some other coverage that includes the Paramount Lodge, the Hulu activation, and some other things that we saw around San Diego Comic-Con. Be on the lookout for that, but I have to work, so it might not come out right away.
And please follow our friend Daniel Drew for he's going to post his San Diego Comic-Con photos and everything on his blog. You can find that at Jedi Time SAIYAN. Just look for Daniel Drew. We retweet him from our accounts. Thank you, Daniel. Great to meet you. Thanks for all your coverage. And nobody's going to get to hear the story of what I had to go through to get this T-shirt because we're out of time. But don't worry, I'll bore you with it in the future. It's okay. It's the reverse of a good tease. Just teasing you for a not particularly good story. But that's all the time we have for now. We will see you tomorrow. And some of you will see in a little bit more than an hour right here on Geekscape. But until then, as the great Stan Lee would say, Excelsior!